Welcome to this year's, the 8th St. Baldrick's event here at St. Augustine's Gymnasium. I'm Jim Reed, glad you could be here for this event. For those of you who are not familiar with St. Baldrick's, it's one of the largest volunteer-driven efforts, really worldwide, to combat children's cancer. Every 3 minutes, a child is diagnosed with cancer. Out of that child, every 3 minutes that is diagnosed with cancer, 1 out of 5 will not survive. And of those that do survive, 2 out of 3 will have long-lasting effects from the very treatment that they underwent to rid the cancer. St. Baldrick's has been very committed. They've committed more than $127 million to life-saving research since 2005. And that's so important because nationwide, the National Cancer Institute, out of what they budget, which is well over $5 billion, only actually less than 4% of that money is targeted for children's cancers. Locally, our story with St. Baldrick started back in 2007. This is our 8th event, as I've mentioned. We've had almost 700 participants. Locally, with the support of this great community, we raised over $180,000. We've cried countless tears and had infinite smiles about this. Each and every year has never ceased to amaze us in how responsive this community is. Our past has involved countless volunteer hours by our staff members. The first 5 members of Citizens Bank that got our heads shaved, we were known as the CNB Baldies. We were knighted last year, Knights of the Bald Table, so that was quite an accomplishment. But to date, or through those 7 years, we had not had, although we had a lot of participation from our female staff members with this, and we couldn't do it without them, we had not had a female shavee. This year, I'm happy to say that CNB staff member Gwen Mattingly will be our first. I want to thank St. Augustine's School. This is the 8th year of our program and the 8th year that St. A has been gracious enough to allow us the use of their facilities. So we appreciate St. A and all that they have done for us in giving us a location for this event. I want to talk briefly, but very importantly, about something that's near and dear to me, and that's our ambassadors. These are young children who have been really the face of this terrible disease here locally. We've had in the past 8 years, we have had 3 local ambassadors, and I just want to take a minute to recognize them. Our first ambassador was Mr. Matthew Miles. Matthew, where are you? Right there. There's Matthew. And I saw Matthew just a few minutes ago, and it's hard to believe. I mean, he's just growing. We've seen him every year. He continues to come back. He's always a participant. Matthew battled leukemia and lymphoma. So 2 terrible diseases. And he's here, and he's in remission, and it's so good to see him every year. Another one of our past ambassadors was Landon Thompson, and I haven't seen, I'm not sure if any of Landon's family is here, but Landon, the good news is he is in remission, continues to be in remission. He was just a little guy when we first got to meet him. He was battling retinoblastoma, but again, he continues to get better, and so we're so fortunate for that. Last year's ambassador was Miss Avery Kate Leachman. Avery, once again, I'm proud and blessed to say that Avery continues to be cancer-free and is doing great. This year's ambassador, we got to really haven't had the opportunity to meet him face to face, but I've read his story. Parker Thompson is the 4-year-old son of Justin and Wendy Thompson of New Haven, Kentucky. And when I first had conversations with Wendy, I said, I know you're not technically from Marion County, but cancer and children's cancer has no boundaries. We're all fighting that battle. And we're so fortunate to have Parker as our local ambassador this year. I read on the work this morning, and I read on the Facebook page that Parker had been released from Cozaire this morning from hopefully his last chemo treatment. We weren't sure if Parker was going to be able to be here. We didn't know if A, would be let out of Cozaire, and B, if the doctors would let him come. And so I read on Facebook, his mom put out on Facebook that they had gotten out of Cozaire and the doctors had given them the okay to be here. And I got to tell you, that just made my day. It really did. I want to ask Parker and his mom and dad, Justin and Wendy, to come up. We've got a special presentation we want to make to you guys. I also asked the chairperson for this year's event, Miss Sheila Lanham, to come up and make that presentation. Okay, again, we appreciate and we just hope for a really positive outcome that Parker is battling. We appreciate you all being here today. We know how much of a challenge it is, and we would just want to make a cash contribution to you guys. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to hearing what great story that Parker is going to tell. All right, let's give it up one more time for this year's ambassador, Parker Thompson.